Hi everyone, it's Amelia Lee here from Undercover Architect. I've got a question from a member of the QA community that I thought would be great to share the answer of because I know it's a question that I get quite a lot. So I'll just read it. It says, knowing the downstairs walls we need removed, why can't our old two-dimensional 1986 house plans be used to draw up the work required? It seems like everyone we've spoken to so far wants to redraw the plans and put them into 3D, which seems like an added and unnecessary cost. So I get this a lot because people will have existing drawings from either if they've got a house that's been built in the last, couple of decades, or they've got plans that have been handed on by a previous owner, if they've done some renovation design or those types of things. And then they'll start speaking to architects, building designers and draftspeople who want to redraw those drawings and do another measure and all of those types of things. And homeowners can't necessarily understand why they're having to pay for something that they believe that they've already got. And the reason that I believe that this occurs, and I know that this is why I would do it in my business, and so why I believe that other designers would be doing it, is because when you're actually designing something yourself as a professional, you're taking on the responsibility for the advice that you're offering. It's actually a professional duty that we have integrity, and we've done our own due diligence in providing advice to our clients. And so I know if I receive drawings, I can't personally guarantee that what has been built, particularly for a house that's from 1986, was built as per those drawings, and those drawings are accurate. And so I know that I personally would need to go around, I'd need to do a check measure, and then I'd need to draw them up again myself. And of course, because that's work I have to do, it's work that needs to be charged as part of my services. One of the reasons that people will want to draw them in 3 dimensions is that a lot of CAD tools these days that draftspeople and architects and building designers use are 3-dimensional drafting tools. So what actually happens in a 3-dimensional CAD package is that they build the building whilst drawing the drawings. And so it's fantastic because it means that the constructability and the resolution of your design is actually getting tested inside the computer package before it gets tested on site. So I know when I work with Aaron Wales Building Design, who I use for my documentation on a couple of the projects that you've seen on the project diaries, he uses Revit, and he actually builds the drawings inside Revit in 3D. So he's testing that every wall is meeting where it's supposed to, that the details that I'm designing and resolving, that they're actually going to work in the computer, which is a way of testing them before they work on site. Now, of course, there's things that we can't possibly know until the building does start getting pulled apart. With renovations, you can't possibly know what's behind walls, but to be able to do that test, check, and resolution in 3D in the computer just can make the world of difference in terms of testing the constructability of your project down the track before you hit site. Once you have builders on site, anything surprising that you uncover, any challenges or anything like that you hit, they're always going to cost you more in time and money. So any work that you can do in a computer, on a drawing board, with a professional before you start construction is going to save you time and money, and it's always going to cost less at the computing stage than it will at the building stage. So my feeling is that getting them drawn in 3D is actually a really good way of testing your design. It's also a way that a lot of designers can use to show you, a lot of people have trouble reading a 2-dimensional drawing and checking and seeing what it's actually going to look like. Even though they think they can picture it, sometimes they do. It is still a surprise to see it in 3 dimensions in the computer. And so that can be a really handy thing for some homeowners. The way that the 3D tools work as well is that you draw the building in 3D, and then from that 3D, model, the way that the tools work is that that's then how you extract out, the floor plans, the sections, the elevations, and what it enables all of those 2-dimensional drawings that you see, your floor plans, your sections, your elevations. So floor plans being looking down, elevations being what the outside looks like, sections being cut throughs. They're all coming off the same package of 3D information, which means that they're all going to be coordinated because the draftsperson or building designer or architect has made sure that that 3D model is right. And so all of those drawings they're coordinated and they're working with each other, which is a really important step in making sure that, again, you get to site and you don't have surprises and things that are going to turn up that aren't right. So for my mind, paying for somebody to redo your drawings in 3D is actually, it's a necessity. unless you are willing to take on all of the risk and say, no, we're fine, use these. We personally take on all of the risk of extra time, cost, all those types of things. But I don't think as a homeowner, you're necessarily, unless you're a professional yourself, you're necessarily, and in the industry yourself, you're necessarily in the position to do that. It's not a risk you really want to take on. So, and when you get somebody who's willing just to do it off the back of 1986 drawings, I always think it's a bit of a red flag that they're not really getting their professional reputation invested in giving you a really great outcome. And they're not somebody who really wants to do the job properly and really check that your house drawings from 1986 are exactly what is living in your, is existing in your house now. So that's my answer as to why a lot of designers will ask for fees to draw up your drawing in 3D when you've got existing old drawings. I hope that helps. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.